The recipe I have for you today is an absolute showstopper and it'll work at every event, birthday party or lunch. It is my lime and yogurt syrup cake. First up, we've got some eggs straight into a stand mixer. We're gonna beat that with some sugar until it's light, pale and creamy. Our eggs and sugar have creamed beautifully. It's very pale, light, gorgeous. Time to add in our flavouring. We're gonna need 3 of these guys, zest and juice. This does require a little bit of arm strength, but so worth it once that flavour comes through. Lime zest is absolutely beautiful. It really freshens up any dish, and in a baked recipe, I just love it. Love it. All right, so that's the end of the zest. It's all in there. Absolutely beautiful. Now let's get the juice in. All 3 limes. It looks excessive, but it is a lime cake and we want that flavour to really come through. And it'll balance out really nicely with our lime syrup that comes at the end. Now you gotta work fast here because if you leave it for too long, the acidity in the lime juice will start to cook the eggs and it won't turn out the texture that you want it to. So you just gotta have to push forward. Add in a little bit of grapeseed oil. You can use any neutral oil, just something that doesn't have a strong flavour because you don't want that to come through instead of the lime flavour, which I won't think it does anyway because of how much lime is in there. But just to be sure, a neutral oil is always good. In goes some yogurt. Okay, so I'm just putting that back onto the stand mixer. And then I'm gonna give that a quick whiz, a beat, just to incorporate it all. All right, so if you look at the batter now, it's very, very loose, but that's gonna change as soon as we add the flour into it. So we've got some flour here, just all purpose. That's gonna go right in. We're gonna turn the mixer back on and let it do its thing. But we're gonna start really slow. I'm so messy. And we're gonna start really slow so the flour doesn't fly up and kind of hit me. Our batter for the cake has thickened up a little bit. It's still really smooth, really runny, but a little bit thicker. Absolutely perfect for the cake. That's gonna go straight into a baking tin now that I've lined, just to make sure that it's easy to pop out. Spring foam as well. You can see the little specks of the lime zest all through the batter, which really just adds flavour to me. It's smelling gorgeous. It's definitely coming through. So that's our cake done. I'm just gonna pop it into the oven at 180 degrees for about 40 to 45 minutes, and I'll test it with the skewer to make sure that it's cooked. Now that the cake's in the oven, let's move on to our beautiful syrup that's gonna just gloss that cake and also some decorations. So first with the decorations, I've got this little cute peeler zester thing here. I don't actually know what it's called, but what it does is it makes little ribbons of zest. So it's not as fine as a zester, so you still get little strands, and that's exactly what I want. So it's the decorations in this cake as well as the flavour that kind of makes it a showstopper. We've got these beautiful zesty ribbons here, and then we've got slices of cooked lime and that beautiful glossy syrup that goes on top, because cakes have to look beautiful. That's what makes people really engage with it, really want to eat it. So that's all of our little ribbons of lime done. What I'm going to do is actually use this lime. I'm going to slice him up really thin, little rings of lime. Once we cook this in the syrup, what it'll do is make the lime completely edible. It will be a little tiny bit bitter, obviously because of the pith, but it's still going to be really delicious. So that there can go into our little pot along with some lime juice and sugar. We are making a syrup. Next, I've got another lime here, and what I'm gonna do to this one is use a vegetable peeler to make bigger pieces of the zest. So that's gonna go straight into there, half of it anyway. The other half I'm gonna reserve to decorate with. Again, with this guy, we're gonna slice him up as well, but we're gonna do something a tiny bit different with him. We're actually going to make a little slit just through here, the middle of the lime slice. And what that does is once it cooks, it'll help the lime kind of curl, so we can make little lime roses. That can all go in. We now turn that heat on and let it do its thing. So as you can see, our syrup and our slices of lime have come to the boil. It's been doing that for about 2 minutes now, and I think that's just enough time for me to turn off the heat. As it cools down, it will become a lot thicker, but before we let that happen, what I'm actually gonna do is pull out some of these beautiful slices of the lime, get as much of that liquid out of it as possible. We're gonna use that to decorate. Totally edible as well. Obviously there is pith in it, tiny bit bitter, but it's quite nice against how sweet the cake is and the strong acidity from the limes. Okay, all we're gonna do now is just leave that, set it aside, let it just chill out, cool down. Once the cake's done, we'll dress. So I've demolded my cake and let it cool for about 20 minutes, just so that it doesn't affect the limes. What I'm doing now is I'm just poking more holes in it. When I was letting it cool, I kind of already poked holes in it. And the reason behind that is it lets the syrup soak through that we're about to pour over the top. Okay, time to garnish. The lime definitely comes through from the fresh zest, and that syrup is looking beautiful, really simple, really delicious, an absolute showstopper, my lime and yogurt syrup cake.